course. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona. The big one is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Camping Universe Truck Series, the Palm Tree 150, here at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, on behalf of the Team Goon Squad Broadcasting Network. Good to see everybody once more for round 2 of the season. Right now, single truck qualifying is underway, and look at that, Jared Ziegler on the top spot. Looks like no other drivers are coming out onto the surface. As we are going to wrap this thing up, 19 drivers have qualified. Doug Newbinging and Cody Schultz did not put down any times here. As we're going to wait for the clock to tick off and get ready to start things tonight. As always, I appreciate everybody that tunes in from around the world. Let me know who you're cheering for, where you're from, as we get ready to take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Jared Ziegler, the number 8 machine. Caleb Nelson starting second. Will Cloud starts third. Kevin Nelson starting fourth. Josiah Strauss starting fifth. Jeffrey Sykes starts sixth. Brady Floyd starting seventh. Derek Stanley starts 8th. Brian Ziegler starting 9th. Brett Murphy starting 10th. Daniel J. Jensen starts 11th. Quinn Gingrich starting 12th on the grid. Cycling it back to Mitchell Mama starting 13th. Sawyer in the number 25 machine starts 14th. Tyler Aspinall starting 15th. Nicholas Wing starts 16th. Lucas Strayer starting 17th. John Boger starting 18th. Brian Robinson starts 19th. Doug Newbringing starting 20th. And Cody Schultz will start 22nd here today. Let's get ready to put him on the grid and get things started here at Miami. Still waiting for a couple more drivers to make their way on the pit road as our race director gives her final instructions to these guys, reminding them what the rules are, what is expected of them, and what will or will not be tolerated here today. As we wait to roll them out on the pit road. And see what's going to happen here. Still waiting for, I believe, Jared Ziegler, our race director, to make his way out before we start the 100 laps here at Miami. 150 miles for these competitors. Looks like Jared Ziegler has taken his way to the grid, so we're going to get things going. As now drivers will get things fired up and ready to go out. Interesting, I'm not hearing any race trucks here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got something wrong. Give me a very quick second. There we go. I thought I was losing my mind up here in the broadcast booth, not hearing anything out of the machines. Let me know for our race fans if it's as quiet for you as it is for me up in the booth. It's eerily quiet here in Miami. Norman King saying, I am in fact losing my mind, but the trucks are audible. We get ready for Barney, our flagman, waving the green flag here in Miami, and away they go. Jared Ziegler, Caleb Nelson, the front row. Cloud and Strauss, your second row. As Ziegler and Nelson are going to try and put in some work early on here. As already drivers trying to get in some sort of rhythm. The top three drivers of Ziegler, Nelson, Cloud, fairly single files. It looks like it's going to be Strauss and Floyd going side by side down the backstretch. Strauss trying to get the air off that wall to make that number 14 machine just a little bit faster to stay ahead of Brady Floyd in the number 20 machine. Ryan Ziegler, number 7, right in tow as we see drivers get a little bit loose there coming out of 2. And start to snap around and get back into formation. Jared Ziegler out front with Caleb Nelson right in tow. Nelson's going to look to the inside line coming out of turn 2. Looks like he's got a big run, but will it be enough going into turn 3 here at Homestead? Still working the inside line. Ziegler on the high line in the white and bright green number 8, while Nelson on the low line in the black and red number 07, still side by side. It showed Nelson at the line by less than 1/100th of a second. But Jared Ziegler is going to do his best to stay with the 07 as we put on another great formation lap here. Nelson that time by was at 33.35. Ziegler with a 33.52. As it looks like Nelson will take over the spot now, 2/10 ahead of the young Ziegler. Will we see Jared answer here, or is he going to fall in line and watch things happen? Meanwhile, a little bit further back, a massive battle for the 8th place spot. You've got Brent Murphy, Jeffrey Sykes, Quinn Gingrich, Brian Ziegler all in the mix here as you're on board with Jeffrey Sykes. Showing just how tight things can be at Homestead as we go side by side once more out of 2. These guys are putting on a show for our fans at home. As it looks like Sykes going to be the lone driver out on the high line. As Murphy, Gingrich, and Ziegler all linking up nose to tail, bumping and grinding, jockeying for position. Still a 4-truck battle for 8th. This is allowing Derek Stanley, our lone Canadian, out on track. He's running 7th in the Toyota Tundra. The pull about 3 to 4/10 ahead over this massive pack here. The more you see the drivers going side by side, battling hard, the easier it is for drivers to stretch the distance and get a little bit further away from the madness behind them. And now it's Gingrich and Sykes still battling very heatedly for ninth now. Brett Murphy is pulled away ever so slightly. Very happy not to be in the mix here. And right now, this is one of the closest battles out on track. That was Doug Newbinging joining the fray as well. We're going to go a little bit further up front to a possible battle for third. Will Cloud, Josiah Strauss right together. Brady Floyd also in the mix, looking up to the inside line against the 14 of Strauss. Strauss on the high line. Will he carry more momentum here? Looks like the field is hinting more as single file action. That's everybody except for Gingrich and Newbinging, who are still just going at it in the battle for 10th. Side by side like it's the last lap of the Daytona 500. As you can see, everybody in front of them has gone down to single file format. And we're going to back that camera up. We're actually go on board with Strayer, who's watching this battle for 10th right in front of him. Gingrich and Newbinging still put on a show. Derek Stanley starting to catch up ever so slightly to Kevin Nelson. Excuse me. That's going to be Stanley defending against Murphy here in the battle for 7. Brett Murphy's up 2 spots. Stanley is up 1. As they see Strauss, and I believe that's going to be Nelson ahead of them, running side by side down the backstretch. Fantastic racing all across the track. As now we're checking out Strauss, the number 14 machine. He's got Kevin Nelson right behind him. Nelson down 2 spots. Not having quite the evening he was looking for. And again, these guys going at in the battle for 5th. That's the great thing about the Camping Universe Truck Series. Free to join Tuesday Night Truck Series. You can find fantastic battles all across the track, as it looks like Kevin Nelson has a bit of connectivity issues there. Hopefully that won't interfere with the excellent battle he's having with Strauss. And they may be catching up to Brady Floyd, the number 20 machine, as well. The top 4 drivers fairly stretched out at this point, over a half second between each of them. It's 5th place back with Josiah Strauss leading the charge. And here comes Kevin Nelson trying to answer back to Brett Murphy. Fantastic racing side by side. Everybody finding somebody to dance with. You've got the battle for 8th between Sykes and Nelson. And now we've got a battle for 3rd as well. Brady Floyd trying to work his way around Will Cloud. Looks like he's going to make it happen here. Looks like Floyd able to get a breakaway. Strauss and Murphy batting, but it almost sounded like Strauss may have tagged the outside wall. Yes, he does. Oh, hold on to it. Don't come back down the track. Oh, such a exciting moment. As Strauss found himself glued to the outside wall there. "17 laps in, our driver's making good time." As we've got massive battles all over the place. Lucas Strayer makes a pass on Josiah Strauss, moving that 41 Toyota up a spot. Looks like Strayer maybe, no, he won't be our hard charge. It's going to be Doug Newbinging in the number 70 machine. Doug is up 10 spots here tonight after not getting the qualifying that he was really looking for. As you're on board with Doug Newbegin, that's the battle just ahead between Lucas Strayer and Kevin Nelson. Looks like Strayer is going to make the pass and move himself up into 8th, but Newbegin has a massive run as well on the outside line. And it looks like Nelson going to put the pressure on Strayer here. And once again, more side-by-side action, the battle for 8th. Kevin Nelson, Lucas Strayer going side-by-side. Nelson tucks back in line as Doug Newbegin has caught up to these two drivers, and it will be a three-way battle for 8th. Another battle out on track to me, Will Cloud, Brett Murphy. In the battle for 4th. Cloud down 1 spot from where he started. Murphy up 5 spots. As we're going to pan back, we've got something going on here for 9th. Nelson Newbinging really going back at it. Not able to really get away from each other is all. Nelson working the outside groove. Newbegin holding the bottom lane, that number 70 machine. On board with Doug Newbing's number 70 machine right on the back bumper of Nelson. Looking to try and get a run down the backstretch, realizing he's not going to have the run he wants, hopping back in line. But now these drivers have to start thinking about tire management and fuel strategy. Homestead, not necessarily known as an easy track on tires, so got to be careful if they still want to be here at the long run. As Newbegin is still holding it as wide open as he possibly can. Panning back a little bit further up front, you've got Will Cloud, Brett Murphy, Derek Stanley, Jeffrey Sykes in a tight pack running 4th through 7th, excuse me. And Murphy all over Cloud here. Now drivers do have 100% fuel capacity in these machines, so I would imagine that's going to put them about 35 to 40 laps on a run. as Derek Stanley makes a big move on Cloud. Cloud loses the spot to both Murphy and Stanley here. And looks like we're going to have a race for the lead as well. Jared Ziegler coming back here to pressure Caleb Nelson, running 2/10 behind your race leader. So let's see what's going to happen here. These two drivers still running just a quarter of a second behind. Saw a little bit of sparks there, possibly off Caleb Nelson's 07 machine. May have tagged that outside wall just ever so slightly. Hopefully he can avoid that in the future, as he does not want to hurt his aero damage over the course of the run. Ryan Ziegler showing is coming down pit road. Yes, he is going for a bit of an undercut over the rest of the field here. So this will be interesting. The first green flag stops of the night. Some of my favorite type of races to call. You can see the strategy on the track as well as on pit road, really showing what these drivers are capable of. Now the question is Jared Ziegler going to make a move here, or is he going to play it safe? I would imagine he'll play it safe, try and save a little bit of fuel behind Kevin Nelson, as Brian Ziegler makes his way onto his pit stall. Now I'm going to get an update as well, see how many tires our drivers have behind the wall. They have no fast repairs. So if you find yourself with a big incident, you are done and out, as we get confirmation 2 sets of tires behind pit road. Brian Ziegler makes his way out after a very lengthy stay, maybe trying to get some repairs done. He was in his pit stall for 1 minute and 20 seconds, so normally it's about a 15-second stop when you're coming in for 4 tires and a tank of gas, so must have had some sort of problems trying to get the repairs done on that thing. As we are still watching your race leaders going back and forth, back and forth. Well, I say that, seesawing back and forth, as looks like Ziegler tries to get a little bit closer, backs out of it, and repeats the process. Going a little bit further back. Still a pretty intense battle for fourth, a 3-truck battle. That's Murphy, Schreier, Stanley, all in the mix here. Right behind these two are Sykes and Cloud watching the show unfold. And another battle there for 11th between John Bower and Kevin Nelson. Now, I've broadcasted a lot of race here at the Camping Universe Truck Series, and this is shaping up to be one of the best ones I've seen so far. Some very clean racing amongst these drivers. As again, Ziegler has worked his way right on the back bumper of Caleb Nelson. Looks like he's going to be very happy following along. So some good racing all across the track despite being 35 laps in. I think drivers are going to stretch it to the very limit as far as fuel goes to make this the shortest stop race they possibly can. Oh, where'd Nelson go? Your race leader with a major blink. Bad, bad, bad in front of Jared Ziegler. This could accidentally make things a whole lot more exciting by accident. So Jared Ziegler won't know where his competition is going with those massive blinks. Trying to guess where Caleb Nelson's gonna be at when he reappears. John Bower will come in, as well as Quinn Gingrich. So it looks like only 3 drivers have come down pit road. Your race leaders, Caleb Nelson, Jared Ziegler, are going to try and stretch it out as long as they can. So who will be the first one down pit road? Will Caleb Nelson be setting the pit schedule? Or will it be Jared Ziegler's now Chris Sawyer and Mitchell Mumar on pit road? And now Brett Murphy will also come down. So this is going to be interesting. So it looks like Nelson and Ziegler are going to make it a 1 or maybe a 1 and a splash off race. And that looks like it's Brady Floyd running third, starting to catch up to your race leader, still hanging about 8/10 behind both Jared Ziegler and Caleb Nelson. We're going to pull up the live timing tower on the left side of your screen so you can see where your favorite driver's at. As I think Ziegler and Nelson, Ziegler's taking over the race lead, so Nelson, not sure why he let Ziegler around there, maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel himself, but it's going to be late in the run to try and make that happen. As Caleb Nelson's really dropped off here. He's about 1.2 behind your race leader. We go a little bit further back. Derek Stanley has gotten some pressure from Jeffrey Sykes. Sykes started off 6th, currently running in 6th. But the wily veteran knows what it takes to have long run speed to bring it up here at the end. And then another battle between Jensen and Cloud, still running nose to tail. Jensen in the white and black number 29, Cloud in the Cheez-Its back number 57. As here comes traffic. Oh, we hint at going 3 wide. And looks like everybody able to hold on to it here. As things are getting dicey. Meanwhile, Caleb Nelson now has company from Brady Floyd. Floyd working the inside line against the 07 of Nelson. Your race leader, Jared Ziegler, really stretched the gap out 2.6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. As it looks like Nelson doing a fairly good job staying with Floyd. I think Nelson's saving some fuel here as the 64 machine of Brett Murphy trying to unlap himself. Murphy came in a lap 39, so he's got much fresher tires than most of the field at this point. As I think Nelson may have actually, I take that back, he may have used up more tires than he planned to as he tags that outside wall here at Homestead. Newbinging and Jensen putting on a show for the 7th place battle. A lot of drivers really stretching it out on fuel. As everybody inside the top 14 maybe trying to make this a one-stop race. If they can come in after the lap 50 mark, they're going to look good to bring it home. Some of the other drivers are on a two-stop strategy. That's Murphy, Boger, Gingrich, Sawyer, Mama, Aspinall, and Brian Ziegler. All switching it up ever so slightly. As it looks like Jensen just happy to keep Newbing in tow. Stanley and Kevin Nelson on pit road. Stanley in the 82, Kevin in the 09. And now some of the leaders are going to come in. Brady Floyd, Lucas Strayer, Caleb Nelson, Will Cloud. Looks like Ziegler, Sykes, and Jensen stay out for another lap here. They're going to give themselves the best condition later on to have the freshest machines out on track. They want the best tires, and they want the most amount of fuel in case we, for some reason, see the yellow flag flying tonight. And it could even put us into green-white checker conditions if things go poorly enough. And now Jared Ziegler will come down pit road. Sykes will stay out here in the 04 machine and pick up a lap lead here at Homestead. And now looks like everybody is going to have their pit cycle finished for the night. Will Brett Murphy possibly be your new race leader as Jeffrey Sykes on pit road? Seeing a few different tire strategies come into play here tonight, as it looks like it's going to be the battle of one stop versus two, barring any late race cautions. And now Brett Murphy will get the race lead here. All right, now Murphy, after a lap 39 pit stop, is about 6 seconds ahead of Jared Ziegler. But Ziegler is going to have much fresher tires. He's the one of two drivers inside the top five who came in around that lap 50 mark. As we watch John Boger and Quinn Gingrich battle for the third place spot. But here comes Brady Floyd. He's on fresh tires as well after a lap 50 pit stop. Gonna try and blast by these two drivers and catch back up to Ziegler. We may see this thing go green all the way to the end, judging by how great the drivers have been tonight. But hopefully the old commentator's curse doesn't come into effect. As Brady Floyd moves up to third, he's going to be about 1.3 seconds back from Jared Ziegler. But these drivers on the one-stop strategy surely can't push too hard here, as it's a long way to go to the end to make those tires last. And just like that, I don't think we're going to have that green flag run as we hear somebody careening across the track, not seeing the broadcast software as an incident. So not entirely sure where that was. I was looking for the driver with the lowest current top speed to see if maybe they had some sort of issue. Going back to the battle for fourth, Boger and Gingrich, still 2/10 apart from each other. Caleb Nelson and Doug Newbinging are less than a tenth of a second apart from each other, as Newbinging and Nelson both came in a lap 50 together, and they're going to quickly catch up to Gingrich and Boger. Have to be careful here as they're side by side. The drivers in front of them also battling for position, and they are also for position. so they can count on it not being easy for Gingrich and Nelson, as it looks like they're going to dive up the inside line. The drivers with older tires realizing, hey, you know what? We're not going to be able to battle too much here, as Newbegin goes all the way up to catch the draft. Not sure what the idea there was. We've got Gareth McAllister joining us tonight, as well as Norman King, both cheering on for Jared Ziegler. As, man, Caleb Nelson carrying a whole lot of slip angle around that inside line. And he's got Doug Newbegin hot in pursuit. Now Nelson finds himself about 4.3 back from Brady Floyd, the number 20 machine. As up front, we have a pass for the lead. Jared Ziegler did catch up to Brett Murphy. And to make his way up into the top spot, we're going to try and get a quick replay of that crash while we were focused elsewhere out on track. Ziegler on the inside line and Murphy on the outside line. Looks like Ziegler's going to make it happen nice and easy. Now Murphy was on much older tires after a lap 39 stops, so Ziegler putting those new tires to use here. And looks like it's boding very well for the number 8 machine. But he's got to know Brady Floyd, he makes his way around Brett Murphy, and he wants to catch back up to the draft of your race leader. Jared Ziegler wants to extend that 3/4 of a second distance, but doesn't want to sacrifice too much tire while doing so. Now we're watching what's Brady Floyd going to be able to do here. Floyd came in on lap 50, Ziegler on lap 51. So we know these two drivers can make it to the end with maybe a slight amount of fuel saving, but tire wear probably the biggest factor for your race leaders here, as they are still clicking off laps at Homestead. We almost had a caution, but kept it green so far tonight, as Floyd still hanging out right at that half-second mark back from your race leader, Jared Ziegler. As Ziegler extends the gap back to 0.8 of a second. Let's go back to Lucas Strayer, who's got a whole lot of company with Jeffrey Sykes and John Boger. And it will be a 3-truck battle for 7th. You've also got Caleb Nelson in a battle of his own for the 4th place spot. And your race leader, Jared Ziegler, has extended that gap back out to a second over Brady Floyd. But look at this, Sykes and Strayer going side by side. Strayer on the outside line, Sykes on the inside line. Current hard charger on track is going to be Doug Newbing in the number 70 Chevrolet. He's up 15 positions. As we are still watching, looks like Sykes getting a little bit of a gap over Strayer, and Caleb Nelson has company from our hard charger, Doug Newbing, and up 16 positions. So it looks like the one-stop strategy at this point of the race working well for the top 4 drivers. Ziegler, Floyd, Nelson, Newbing all came in on lap 50, while Brett Murphy with the undercut on lap 39 currently still holding on to 5th. It'll be interesting to see how much time Newbing can gain if he comes in around that lap. Well, should be right about now, anywhere between laps 70 and 80 for a final sprint. Not many tires behind the wall as Chris Sawyer will come in for the second time tonight, as well as Mitchell Mumma will join him in pit road. And Caleb Nelson will hold on to it as we see a few of the drivers leaving pit road in the final 28 laps here at Homestead for the Camping Universe Palm Tree 150. This is the tightest battle we have out on track as Ziegler has extended his gap to Brady Floyd over a second at this point. But Floyd could very well be taking it easy. And we will have our first caution of the night. Didn't see anything register on our crash report. It may have been Nicholas Wing. We saw him lose his spot to Caleb Nelson right as the caution came out. And yes, that's absolutely it. The way late racing, it looked like that was the 99 machine of Wing and the 7 of Brian Ziegler. Just not quite sure what happened there. Not sure if maybe Brian Ziegler got pinched or if he came down on Wing. Very tough one to call. But that will be our first caution of the night, and that's going to throw a wrench into things for these drivers, as now we're going to have a 25-lap sprint to the end of this. Caleb Nelson, Doug Newbing, and Jeffrey Sykes. Looks like they're staying out here. Very interesting to see the strategy from those three drivers. As now you're going to have a whole slew of drivers on some very fresh tires. Looks like Kevin Nelson also stays out in the 09 machine while everybody else is on pit road. So it's going to show Caleb Nelson as your race leader. A very interesting move to see the 07, the 70, the 04, and the 09 staying out here. I wonder if they're betting on a late race caution. And then they'll have their freshest set of tires. So let's see, this is very quickly becoming a tire strategy race for these drivers. As we get ready to grid them back up, it's going to be 24 to go on this restart after a very late caution. And again, it looks like only 4 drivers opted for the track position instead of newer tires. We'll get him gridded up. Looks like it's going to be 23 to go with this restart. A little bit longer caution as Brian Ziegler had to take a tow back to pit road. He will be most likely out of this event. Nicholas Swing heavily damaged. He is also retired. Here we go for the first restart of the night. Caleb Nelson with a massive launch. Doug Newbegin trying to stay on the outside line, but here comes Jeffrey Sykes up the middle. Cautions do tend to breed caution, so now you got the field mixed back up. Drivers on differing pit strategies and tire strategies. As Kevin Nelson falls down the stands of the 09 machine, he stayed out on 25-lap older tires, but now it's your top 3 drivers with fresh rubber as Jared Ziegler gonna work the outside line. Looks like he may have tagged the wall and barely avoids getting hit by Sykes. Sykes has problems as the field spreads around him. 3 wide from 4th place back. That's Strayer, Murphy, Floyd. And oh, surely we're gonna see an incident here as these guys are leaning on each other very, very hard. Now maybe the drivers who stayed out on their set of tires may be hoping for that, as Jared Ziegler has worked his way up to 2nd, trying to catch up now to Caleb Nelson, who's a 10th ahead. Ziegler runs it in deep, tags the back bumper of Nelson. Oh, and narrowly avoids getting a little bit squirrely himself. That will slow down the run and allow Lucas Strayer in the 41 machine to send up the inside line in turn one. Here comes Brett Murphy in the 64 machine as well, as we are too wide and we were briefly too deep for the battle for second. Looks like it's about a five truck battle, as Strayer's going to work the inside groove. And it looks like that's going to benefit Ziegler. He's able to get around Caleb Nelson. Nelson again with slightly older tires, about 25 lap older tires than Jared Ziegler, Lucas Strayer, and Brett Murphy, who are charging through the field. 20 laps left to go. And again, this is where things get hairy. You've got drivers with much fresher tires and drivers just holding on to it the best they can. And what happened to Sawyer there, number 25 machine? As he is smoking quite fiercely. Off the racing line though, so no caution yet. But Strauss also has an incident going all the way down, so Jared Ziegler is going to hope we can keep it green here, as he's got Strayer and Murphy in hot pursuit, while a handful of drivers taking the gamble to stay out are praying that the yellow flag will come out, and then they will have extremely fast trucks to bring this thing home. As it is Jared Ziegler, Lucas Strayer, Brett Murphy, Brady Floyd, Will Cloud all on the top five here. Looks like Sykes and Sawyer both got down to pit road. So we're going to keep this thing green for a little while longer, as Ziegler stretches his gap to 0.3 of a second over Lucas Strayer. And Strayer is going to have his hands full with Murphy and Floyd right behind him. Looks like Floyd taking a peek at the inside line here, working it again next to Murphy. As the more Strayer, Floyd, and Murphy battle here, the better things will look for Jared Ziegler, your race leader, almost a half second over this battle for second. As Strayer and Floyd still linked up nose to tail, they may find themselves working together to try and catch up to your race leader, working as a pack to reel in the solo car as we go, solo truck, as we go on board with Lucas Strayer. He's up 15 positions and working that number 41 Toyota as hard as he possibly can. No more time left to save tires for these drivers. It is go, go, go. Jared Ziegler sees the number 41 machine, that rear view mirror, realizing he's got to drive as fast as he possibly can. Now 25 laps is about the perfect sweet spot where you can almost hold it wide open the whole way around without worrying the tires falling off. Ziegler trying to break the draft behind him, but I don't know if it's going to help him out, as Strayer gained not quite a tenth there with getting a hearty push from Brady Floyd. Brett Murphy just out of frame in the top left corner, watching these top three drivers going at it. Now again, most of these drivers inside the top 8, I believe, want this thing to go green. You've got Caleb Nelson still running ninth despite being on much older tires, but his plan for the caution to come out late in the race may not come to fruition here. And here comes Strayer to battle for the lead with Jared Ziegler. And Ziegler will soon also have traffic to contend with. Ziegler using traffic to break the draft as quickly as he can. Able to gain about a 10th there. Now 3/10 separating Ziegler from Strayer. We are looking good to have a wild finish here tonight. I'm watching with bated breath to see what Strayer is going to be able to do. Still a 3, almost 4/10 disadvantage to Jared Ziegler. Ziegler was so extremely quick on his opening long run where he went 51 laps on a set of tires. Will he be able to fend things off as he's holding it all the way down, giving it everything she's got? Looks like Strayer gained about 5/600ths of a second. That's how tight of a game we're playing, where every 100th of a second matters in these final laps. Slightly ahead of Ziegler, more traffic. It's about 3/4 of a straightaway between Ziegler and his next lap driver he will have to get around. And if he can catch traffic, that'll actually help out Jared Ziegler ever so slightly, and he'll get a draft advantage, as that is what Strayer is doing right now, staying nice in tow. And using the draft off that number 8 machine to pull his Toyota just slightly closer to the front. Ziegler hops down low, trying to break the draft once more. I don't really think he's gaining much time there. If anything, he may be slowing himself down. Now Ziegler looking for his first top 3 of the season, or his first one. Right now, Lucas Strayer in second, the only driver that's finished on the podium so far this season. Now last week at Daytona, it was Mumma, Stanley, Strayer, the top 3. And we're looking like it could be a new race winner here if Jared Ziegler can hold on to it. But Strayer also looking for his first win of the season. As Floyd currently running 9th, he was picking up a 9th after last week, after he had his fair share of cautions. Caution-involved incidents, I should say. A 1/4 of a second separating your race leader, Jared Ziegler, from Lucas Strayer. Now, Ziegler qualified on pole, so that would be quite an accomplishment if he can come out tonight and bring home a win from start to finish, so to speak. And he is indeed going to use traffic to his advantage. That was the number 14 machine of Josiah Strauss. I believe that was Strauss. Yes, it was. Who'll go a lap down to your race leader. That has given possibly Ziegler the room he needs. 5 laps left to go. It is now a half second between the number 41 Toyota and the number 8 Chevrolet. Ziegler racing with Mustard Seed Racing this season, trying to come out there and finish strong, as now he's pulled it to about 6/10. Chris Sawyer comes down pit road once more, the number 25 machine. Must have some sort of major issues if he's coming down to box with only 4 laps left to go. Now, will Strayer have anything left in the tank, as he is 3/4 of a second behind Jared Ziegler? Now, thankfully for Strayer, he's still about a second and a half ahead of Brady Floyd, running third. As you're on board with Jared Ziegler, not doing a whole lot of lifting here. Just holding it down and making it happen. White flag is out for Jared Ziegler. Barring any incidents, he's going to pick up his first win of the season here with the one-stop. I guess it was a one-stop planned race. Ended up being a two-stop. What a great race. Only one caution to speak of. And some absolutely fantastic racing as Jared Ziegler will bring home the win here at Homestead. I almost caught myself saying Daytona there with how good the racing was. Lucas Strayer will finish second, and Brady Floyd will finish third. What a great second round of the season. And Jared Ziegler will be absolutely ecstatic to pick up his first win so far this year. Well done to all these drivers. Only one caution is quite a great night. And Jared Ziegler going to burn it down for us here at Homestead, putting on a smoke show for the fans at home. And a very well-deserved win. But we're going to wait. We've got Lucas Strayer standing by for his interview. Still waiting on Brady Floyd. And Jared Ziegler is going to have his hands full in every sense of the word. Burning up all the tires out here today. All right, looks like we got all of our drivers up here into victory lane. And up first, it's going to be Brady Floyd, the number 20 Ford Mustang. Brady, great race. It looked like it became a fuel mileage race, then a sprint race out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I felt like I didn't really have too much short run pace. Definitely was fast on the long run. Came from about 4 or 5 seconds back to being right on the top two there on that long run. Almost messed up the pit stop really badly. Don't know how I didn't speed. Don't know how teammate Luke Strayer didn't speed. He was wrecking into the pits loose. But I guess that caution probably didn't really change the result for me. I probably would have ended up around P3 anyway. So really proud of the guys tonight to go just one caution the whole night. That's a pretty big statement for Homestead. This track's usually a lot worse than that. But no, just really happy to bounce back from Daytona with top 3.
Yeah, Brady, it was a great run out there. Were you expecting that long green flag run after Daytona, or was it kind of an unknown of what we were going to see out here around 2?
Well, I don't think you can really take Daytona and put it to Homestead because obviously 2 different tracks, and we were pretty conservative most of the way around Daytona. But given how much we were wrecking in practice, especially off 3 and 4, I thought maybe it was going to be a lot worse. But once the sun went down, it kind of got a lot easier on us, I guess, and track gripped up a bit. So, and I think everybody started to migrate towards the bottom. I think a lot of the wrecks in practice were people trying to get good runs off 3 and 4 to set hot laps. But no, really, really proud of us tonight. Really good team effort for us. So we'll take it.
Brady, congratulations up here in Victory Lane for the first time this season. Who would you like to give a shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors.
Definitely got to thank the teammates. Luke Strayer, congrats on the P2. Will Cloud bringing home a solid P5, and then Tyler Aspinall didn't get too much practice before the race, but he was still cheering us on, doing his best. He finished out of the points, but still a really good showing for him. I'm proud of how he raced, regardless. So sponsors, got to thank 4cloak.net, 4cloak Media, Adra Esports, and got to thank Pierce Graphics as well.
Awesome. Brady, again, congratulations on a great third, and hope to see you carry that luck forward into the season.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Brady Floyd finishing third, and now we'll have his teammate Lucas Strayer finishing second in the 41 machine. Lucas, welcome back to Victory Lane.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A little bit more eventful this time, but we'll take it.
Now, you think that was more white knuckle than an opening round at Daytona, or was it a little bit more relaxing, you think, without the draft lottery coming into play?
I mean, I went from 17 to second. I thought that was white knuckle just because I had to pass everybody, but I think that final restart was absolutely insane. I think me, Brady, and Brett were 3 wide for like two laps straight. I think we even 4 wide at one point. Just, whew. I'll take second.
Yeah, and Lucas, that's a good point. You're a hard charger for the night, up 15 positions from where you're qualified. We know you have the pace week in and week out. What happened in qualifying that had you starting so far back tonight?
I mean, everyone said run the bottom, so I got in my head, I'm like, oh, I'll run 1 lap on the top and then 1 lap on the bottom. So my first lap, I kind of just eased around the top, just getting my tires warm. And then I sent it to second lap, and second lap was just slow, so I didn't have anything to fall back on. But yeah, I mean, eventful race, 17th to second. I crashed on pit road. We'll call it a win with a second.
No doubt. Now, next week we go to Rockingham. How are you feeling about going to such a unique raceway next week?
Oh, I love that track. I absolutely love it. You can run any lane there. If someone's slow on the bottom, take them high. If they're running slow on the top, take them low. I love that track. And because I said that now, I'm going to crash out. So we'll see how it goes.
Like the commentator's curse, but from behind the driver's wheel. Well, a third last week, a second this week. Hopefully you can keep that success up and maybe bring home a win next week at Rockingham. Lucas, who would you like to give a shout out to tonight that's helping cheer you on that number 41 machine?
Got my sponsor, Sean Howe Design and Grip Marketing. Thank you for staying on. And then just my team of Adra, Brady, Tyler, Will. It's pretty fun. And just all my friends in the league. I love talking to them anytime I can. It's fun when you're racing a bunch of people you know.
Oh, well said. Lucas, again, congratulations on second after a wild start all the way up to the finish line. Glad to see you do so well, and hope to see you do well, or if not better, at Rockingham next week.
Oh, thanks, man. You too.
Thank you, sir. That was Lucas Strayer finishing second, and now the man of the hour, Jared Ziegler, the number 8 machine. First win of the season, only 1 caution. What more can you ask for as both a racer and a race admin here at Camping Universe?
No caution. That would have saved a little bit of stress, but we did a pretty good job. Everyone did a great job. We went 75 laps or something without a caution. So for a lot of people being their first season, I think that's a pretty good dang job by everyone. So bravo to everyone on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was great racing. We had that lap. I want you to right, 75 caution or so to really throw a wrench. And we knew you had a long run car, and suddenly we saw that run cut in half. How nervous were you that you were going to have a short run hero get up there and maybe throw a wrench in your plans for tonight?
Yeah, I was nervous. I mean, I was saving that whole entire first stint against Caleb, so I wasn't really worried too much about him. If there's no caution, I'd say I think I had it basically in the bag. I don't know about Brady. He was kind of the wrench in my plans, and the 41 of Lucas as well, because he was sneaky up there as well. When the caution came out, I was worried that this was going to become a wreck fest because we had a lot of drivers spin out in practice. So I was like, it's 25 laps to go. Everyone's going to push. It's going to be bad. And then I saw Caleb and his team stay out. I'm like, oh no, this is going to even go from bad to worse. But we all kept it clean, and Lucas really put the pressure on me there, and that was a really fun battling him. Hopefully we have more battles throughout the rest of the season. Brady was up there as well. He was really fast all race. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season with if they can stay up here with Caleb and myself. I think it'll be a pretty tight battle for a championship. So glad we got a win early, get a playoff point. So just excited about that.
Now, Jared, we've got a very unique schedule coming up this season. Which of the upcoming tracks? I mean, we've got Pocono, South Boston, we've got Martinsville, Eldora, Dirt, a very unique schedule. I mean, which of those tracks are you most excited about, most apprehensive about, or maybe both?
Well, you're always going to have to wonder about Talladega. I mean, we had the Dega double again this season with 230-lap races, so that's definitely going to be something to worry about. South Boston, it's like a 4/10 mile track, so it's going to be a pretty tough one, with especially if we get 20-25 drivers like we got last 2 weeks. So those two tracks will be two hard ones for everyone. Lucas Oil is one I'd probably be worried about the most, because especially since it's in the playoffs or Chase. So Gateway, Lucas Oil, Charlotte, Bristol, Vegas. I think the other four I can do pretty well at. Lucas Oil was the only other one where it's going to throw a wrench of some people's plans, some of the championship contenders most likely. So that's going to be the one I have circled in my calendar of get enough practice, try and stay up front, kind of do what I did tonight, win the pole. I don't know if I led the most laps, but hopefully I got that snagged up from Caleb. But just stay up front, have track position all day, and hopefully just drive that one.
Well, Jared, you've got a plan. Hopefully we can see you follow it through. Great to have you up here in the top spot after a very dominant performance tonight, despite the little white knuckle moments, and finishing proudly in that very first position on the podium. Now, Jared, you get the pleasure, the honor, the privilege, the final send-offs of the night. Who would you like to give a shout to in that number 8 machine?
All right, this one's going to be I got a lot more sponsors this season. I actually have them written down too. So we got Mustard Seed Racing on the hood. Endurance team I'm on. Norman King does a really good job over there. Steel Series, EVGA, Azus, Intel, Deep Cool, Samsung, Sparco, DSD, Fanatec, Next Level Racing, of course Camping Universe, all of our admin, Chevrolet. My teammates, both Brian Robinson got a top 10 this week, so he did a really good job there, finishing P9. Brian Ziegler got caught up in an incident early on, so that one, or late and early, so he kind of had a struggle this week, but hopefully he can bounce back next week and fight back for the team championship. And thanks for youth broadcasting, and let's go to Rockingham for the throwback race next week.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Jared, great job tonight, my friend. Hope to see you do well at Rockingham as well as the rest of the season. And again, congratulations on your first place finish so far this year.
Thank you very much. You have a good one.
As well, sir. That was Jared Ziegler bringing us home here at the end of the second round of the Camping Universe Truck Series, the Palm Tree 150. Just the right amount of excitement and some spectacular racing from start to finish, where it was Jared Ziegler on the top spot, Lucas Strayer finishing second, and Brady Floyd rounding out our podium. As always, on behalf of the Camping Universe Truck Series as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.